two birds with one stone. Trying.
What was that?
Trying to hit two birds with one stone.
Multitask.
But it's interesting. So they actually moved where this was. It was over just on the end over there.
The end of the
last
runway.
Couple of years now, it's in the middle, which is nice. I think last year it even rained, so that's what's kind of interesting. But it's a really nice day. It's a lot cooler than it's been, but now once you kind of get up here, the heat kind of comes down on you. But
It was raining last year.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
I couldn't hear you.
But yeah, so it's starting to fill up, and they'll be starting at about 2:30. So here in 20 minutes or so. So we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned.
All right, we'll go walk around a little more.
Did you go show them this stuff?
Yeah, I've been walking around, going all the way around the back. These guys getting set up to play some music. After this, there's a memorial at there's a fire station downtown, historic fire station, so we'll probably cruise by there. There last year, here's the honor guard for, I don't know, the CHP. Let's go, maybe Border Patrol. Let's see who these guys are with. Yeah, that's US Border Patrol. That's Brutus. My little Tijuana Terrier. Yep. Keeps me sane. Kinda.
That's right.
Sanity's not easy to maintain these days. We'll go down here to the end of the flight deck. Got a little time to burn. For a walk, there's a nice sailboat over here. Looks like there's a ferry out there. Very, very beautiful day here in San Diego. It's been hot. Not quite as hot today, but absolutely perfect. About 70, 75. Kitty hair microphone's doing with that. What kind of jet is this one? This is a A6 Intruder, fully loaded with missiles.
Airplane's going to go to full power.
This guy's giving a little presentation
open,
over
steam
here.
hits it, breaks the whole deck fitting, steer into the water brake, everything stops, airplane goes flying. Bring it back, do it again. Son, I got a little grab, I sent up toward it.
Apparently this is the aircraft launch talk.
So we got a pump system, we got a tank and a pump system up here, and it keeps it full. So if you look at it, it's not.
That's a F6 Crusader here. Fold up wingtips. It's like a Recon plane over here. Like a Sub Hunter or something. Let's go see. Airborne early warning. like to analyze and share data with ships and aircraft, as well as coordinate multiple attacks against the enemy. That's what that big dish up on top there was for. Come on, Brutus. It's an S3 Viking. I think these are all ships, or all planes and jets that have been used on this carrier at certain times. S3 Viking was the first sub-hunting carrier jet. Due to its small size, the Viking featured space-saving multitasking displays that enabled the crew to interpret data from several sensors simultaneously. Hope you all are having a beautiful Wednesday on this 9/11. We came last year and we ended up going to an event in Coronado where it was a whole bunch of sailors, I think introductory sailors, and we sat through a ceremony. One of our friends, Consuelo's daughter, sang the Star Spangled Banner there. It was kind of painful to have to sit there and listen to them. Part of their memorial was to describe the events minute by minute as they happened, whereas the story was told on the mainstream media during 9/11, 2001, when the tragedy occurred. The story was nothing close to what actually happened, but what are you gonna do? We had to listen to it anyway. I actually was wearing a shirt that said Bush did 9/11 on it. I'm not sure he did. It sure as hell wasn't what they told us. I think he was complicit. It's just sad. You're on the deck of the U.S. Midway aircraft carrier. 9/11, let's say 9/11 memorial service they do annually. There will be names of all those involved as firefighters, law enforcement, and airline employees. The names of all those people who died, lost their lives that day, will be read here on stage. Annual event. Walker will be reading a few of those names here on the stage. They take turns and ring a bell in honor of all those who lost their lives. We're back. Hmm?
Okay. Just making sure the mic is working.
It is. What time is it now?
Like 12 minutes.
You want to say hi? That's Brutus. Just the two of you?
No, it's actually four of us.
Right on, that's cool.
Two boys.
So you homeschool the kids?
Yeah,
Nice.
way better than what they teach.
That's a heck of a life. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot more out there on the road than you'll learn sitting in the school.
Yeah, we've been to so many national parks. They do a lot of junior ranger badges. Been to probably Washington probably 9 times.
Where were you last?
California.
Been
Before
going around
that, we were in Florida. We're going back to Florida next month,
Cool.
just for the winter. Nice and warm.
It's not too bad here either.
No, we just have commitments over there. If it wasn't for that, I'd stay. Especially down here.
Beautiful.
Have you been to this ceremony before?
No,
The third time
oh yeah.
that I've been, yeah.
Should be up there reading off a few of the names. They read the names of the people who lost their lives that are law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, and those who are involved in the aircraft industry. You know, everybody that's on the planes, pilots, and the support staff.
Yeah, I try and teach the kids about 9/11 and stuff. You know,
But coming back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow, and I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead as dead, I will maybe. You'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear how soft you tread above me, and on my grave will warm a sweeter be. For you will bid and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wait. Very friendly. You gotta stay here. Again, for anybody who may have just started joining the stream, we are on the USS Midway Museum. It's a retired aircraft carrier, downtown San Diego on San Diego Bay, for the 9/11 memorial ceremony. Non-agenda now? This is Audra.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like you to turn off your cell phones if you could. And I just found out we had groups of 25 that didn't show up. We have names. If anybody wants to read names of the fallen heroes, please go over to the desk. Put your hand up, Patty. That desk there. So, hello everyone. My name is Bob Allen, President of the FDNY Retirees of San Diego. I'd like to thank all of you for showing up to commemorate the fallen of those horrendous attacks on our country on September 11, 2001. This is the 23rd anniversary, and also the 20th year we had it on this incredible ship. First, I would like to thank the CEO of the USS Midway Museum, Rear Admiral Terry Crabb, for the use of this spectacular venue.
Hey, I'm gonna sit over there with you.
I'd like to thank our
I'm gonna
honored
sit over here.
guests.
There's too many people walking in front of me.
That's the San Diego Fire Rescue Chief of Department, Robert Logan II. I'd like to thank all the first responders that show up. The Chief Selects from the USS Carl Vinson. the active duty and veteran military personnel. Just thank you. I'd especially like to thank the Wounded Warriors that are over here from the Wounded Warrior Program. I'd also like to thank San Diego Fire Rescue Unit for providing the fire truck and the colors on the pier, and to all of those who are part of today's event. Today's event will include the San Diego Emerald Society Pipes and Drums, a Border Patrol Honor Guard, a Border Patrol 21-gun salute, a San Diego Fire helicopter flyover, and Harbor Police fire boat display. Now I would like to introduce Heather Lake. Heather is well known in the community in her role as a Fox 5 reporter.
Bob, thank you. Good afternoon. I mean, we get this beautiful day to get the sunshine and all of this, but really do something that we promised 23 years ago that we would do, and that is to never forget. I started this morning with the Fox 5 Morning News, and we started with a lot of our first responders, members of our community, all at the National City Fire Department for their annual firefighter remembrance ceremony and breakfast. And it just made me look out into the crowd and realize not just how important the San Diego community is, but how important it is to remember this day as Americans. What a year we have with an election, right? Where everything is so polarizing. But if we go back and we look 23 years ago, how did we all feel in that moment where we saw firefighters rushing in, people helping other people, in a moment where there wasn't polarization, but we stood together as Americans, as one. And so if we can remember that, I think that's really important right now, especially where we are. On top of that, I don't know about you, but each year I feel a little bit more responsible about telling the next generation about 9/11 and being here at events like this and keeping these events going to make sure that the next generation knows how important this is as an American and living this legacy and making sure that we always remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. With that being said, I want to just get this ceremony started and make sure that all of us take a moment of silence, take a moment to breathe, and take in what we are here to do today. I would like everyone to stand. We are going to introduce San Diego Fire Department Chaplain Debbie Arnold and K9 Ruby to the stage for the invocation. And please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Kaya Tremaine and the presentation of the colors by the U.S. Border Patrol, the San Diego Emerald Society Pipes and Drums. Debbie Arnold.
Good afternoon. What a beautiful afternoon. And I agree so much, Heather, that it's a day to remember and to carry that legacy down through the generations and remind them of this day. So would you bow your hearts and your heads with me as we pray. Father God, on this anniversary of the terrorist attack of 9/11, grant us wisdom to remember the lessons from that tragic day. May those lessons make us a more compassionate and caring people. We think of the brave firefighters and police, the civilians who sacrificed all, putting others' safety before their own, running into danger as others fled. We know, Lord, they did not die in vain, and we pray with genuine and sincere hearts that their legacies will go on to endure throughout time. They were the ones who made that sacrifice and gave their lives for their fellow man, strangers they did not even know. May their bravery be remembered and not just a footnote in history books. Lord, we pray too for the innocent victims killed on that heartbreaking day. We thank you for each one of their lives and the mark that they left on this earth. We celebrate the importance they had on us as well as friends, family, and neighbors. Even if we did not know them personally, they mattered to the story of our nation and we thank you for each one. Help us not to lose sight with time these precious souls. May we become ever mindful that they were made in your image and that their lives held great value. Help their stories be told again and again, and may we feel pushed to share their bravery with those who were not even alive on September 11th, 2001. Bless those who grieve the loss of a son, daughter, husband, wife, brother, sister, friend. And bless now this time as we remember that fateful day when our nation was forever changed. We ask all these things in his precious name. Amen. Thank you.
This is Kaiser Germain to do the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kaiser, you can sit down. Not Kaiser. Kaiser sang Danny Boy.
His name's Brutus. Yes.
Honor guard, sorry.
Right turn, hutch. Left, right, left. 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 Stop playing.
I want to take a moment to not only thank the USS Midway Museum, but also welcome our first speaker, retired Rear Admiral Terry Kraft, who's the president and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. Terry?
He got called away. Couldn't make it.
Well, I know how much he would want to be here. I'm here with him for many events aboard the USS Midway, and we are extremely thankful to be able to have this stage now for 20 years and be able to do this. So we're going to move forward to our new fire chief, Robert Logan, who is the fire chief of the San Diego Fire Rescue Department. Robert, please come up to the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Logan, and I am proud to serve as the 19th Fire Chief of the City of San Diego. Good afternoon, Mayor Gloria, San Diego residents, visitors, and most of all, Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, Space Force members, Coast Guard, and all other United States Armed Force members. I would like to take a moment to reflect on the events that transpired 23 years ago on September 11, 2001. In the wake of 9/11 attacks, President George W. Bush declared, "Freedom and fear are at war." The advancement of human freedom, the outstanding achievement of our time, and the great hope of every time. Now it depends on us. This generation will lift a dark threat of violence from our people and our future. We will rally the world to this cause for our efforts and our courage. We will not tire, we will not falter, and we will not fail. President Bush was right about his assessment of American resolve. After a few words, I will relay President Bush's concepts of courage, resolve, and how and why each of you are heroes to me in the wake of September 11. On September 11, 2001, we lost 343 firefighters, first responders, emergency service providers, 72 law enforcement officers, and thousands of civilians in the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, as well as Flight 11, 175, 77, and 93. This day branded all Americans and all of us who stand for freedom with an immeasurable loss of thousands of loved ones and an unquantifiable physical and emotional scars, including shaking of the foundation of America's peace and security. Often what goes unrecognized are the sacrifices made by our military service members and their families and friends. In the wake of the attack on our great nation, our brave service members stood up for all of us to protect our fundamental freedoms and human rights. And for this, I thank each of you and each of your families. With each fiber of my admiration, my appreciation, and my compassion. After September 11, 2001, our nation has suffered the furthest loss of service members. Roughly 2,300 of our most beloved protected serving our United States Armed Forces. The number of military service members' lives lost in the pursuit of freedom continues growing today and will continue to grow as long as America stands watch. Let us please take a moment in the memory of lives lost, injuries sustained, and sacrifices made surrounding the tragedies of September 11. Despite the tragedies that occurred this dreadful day, I also see parallels of heroism, compassion, community, and love. I see the United States of America standing together to combat our enemies and rebuild our nation. I want to focus on the word hero and what it means. Our police officers and firefighters are heroes daily. They protect us from all levels of crime. They run into burning buildings and make rescues and put out fires daily. I couldn't be prouder to be your fire chief and represent these heroic men and women today. Let's share a round of applause for our first responders. But none of us could do it without each of you. Whether you're infantry, surface warfare, logistics, admin specialist, culinary specialist, or a mechanic, we could not do our jobs without you protecting our basic freedoms. Countless American heroes ran up the stairwell of the World Trade Center knowing full well that they would at some point collapse. Heroes took over the hijacked plane of Flight 93 to prevent greater catastrophe. Heroes captured Osama bin Laden and neutralized the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And you heroes continue to fight every day, at home and abroad, to restore security, peace, and fundamental human rights across this nation. I imagine you don't think about this daily. Still, through your sacrifice in the armed forces, each of you is part of a legacy of which is no greater honor. Each one of you in uniform continues the tradition of protecting liberties and justice for all. Like the great leaders before us, George Washington in the War of Independence, Abraham Lincoln in the Civil War, World War I and II against fascism and genocide, and today's global war on terrorism. Continue to protect us all and serve us no matter what the threat is or the individual sacrifice. I salute you to all those who have served our country, especially those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for us all. Today's event is memorable to the victims of terrorism and their families, for those in uniform and to our great country. Thanks to all those who have planned this event and each volunteer. Let's unite again today in their honor at this symbolic memorial event. And God bless America.
Chief Logan, thank you again for taking time out of your busy day. Bob Allen didn't introduce himself. He's a retired New York City firefighter, and give him a round of applause. Spent countless hours to make sure that these living memorials go on for 9/11, and this is near and dear to his heart. He has some tributes that he wants to do today before we get to the reading of the names, and so if you'll all just take a moment, and this is Bob.
Thank you, Heather. First of all, is that better? Okay. Geisha Germain, the singer before, sung Danny Boy. Well, this is a tribute to Danny Noonan, our own Danny Boy. He was an incredible person. He just died about a month and a half ago. I met Danny 47 years ago under strange circumstances. Due to New York's worst fiscal crisis, we were both disgruntled workers out of firefighting, a job we both loved. Danny was one of 900 firefighters laid off, and I was one of 1,300 forcibly medically retired. We met out here again in San Diego when he founded our retiree group. I found out then he was teaching in Miramar College and training truck operations around the country in different firehouses in the county. found out 3 members of our retiree group, Danny, Jerry Bresnan from Ladder 7, and Eddie Guile, Rescue 3, were all retired because of the New York telephone fire. The telephone fire broke out after midnight on February 27, 1975, at the telephone company switching center in downtown New York. Danny on Ladder 3 was first due to this deadly fire. 100,000 pounds of polyvinyl chloride PVC pipe was burning as he was there for hours and hours. Danny has been a tireless advocate for awareness of occupational cancer and toxic exposure in the fire service. He also worked for over a week at Ground Zero, breathing in toxic fumes there. He might be the only person to be at the 2 most toxic fires. His legacy continues through ongoing research, policy changes, and awareness of the dangers. On another note, he used to get us incredible speakers. Don Forsyth is in the audience today. He talked about the Oklahoma City bombing. He had DAs, he had top police all over the country, top fire all over the country come in and talk. And then he had Commander Lloyd Buka, who was the commander of the USS Pueblo that was captured off of North Korea and held hostage for a year. That leads me into the story of Bobby Senn, S-E-E-S-E-N-N. He was one of the speakers, and his story I don't think has ever been told. You have to understand, he was telling this to New York City firefighters, and nowhere will you find some of this stuff that he wrote, that he said. He was assigned to Engine 207, but that day he was detailed to drive the chief from Battalion 31 in his own quarters. When the first plane hit, he got the call to respond to World Trade Center 1. His firehouse is located underneath the Brooklyn Bridge, so it wasn't a long way. While crossing the bridge and looking at the Trade Center, he thought, oh my God, we could lose a lot of people today. He dropped the chief off closer to the Trade Center, and he parked several blocks away. As he was walking, he heard noises, looked up to see people looking around and looking straight up. He looked up just in time to see the tail of the second jet disappearing into World Trade Center 2, the South Tower. As he was passing the Marriott Hotel, he saw people in the lobby. He went in and with a policeman convinced some people to get out of there after they were told it was safer in than out. They guided about 25 people out of the building, hoping others would follow. About 50 people ended up dying in the hotel. He then went towards the North Tower, avoiding the falling debris and the horrific falling jumpers. In the lobby, he was greeting friends, some of who were going to ascend the stairs, some never came down. He then saw members of his Engine 207. They asked if this was building number 2. He said, no, you're in 1. He pointed to number 2 and sent them on their way. He watched them go, and a few minutes later, building 2 came crashing down. Mass amounts of debris came down, a lot of it through World Trade Center 1 windows, burying many people inside, including himself. It took him about 10 to 15 minutes to orient himself and dig himself out. To him, it seemed to take forever to get out of the building. When he was out, he asked the cop who was on a cell phone if he could lend him his phone. He called his wife, told her he was safe and out of the building. As the group that he was with trying to get out, Tower 1 came down, burying him worse than he was the first time. All he could think about was that he lied to his wife. He didn't think he was going to make it. When he finally dug himself out, he found other firefighters, and they worked for about the next 12 hours. At that point, some medical people saw him, and he was like a snowman. He was all dust and horrible. They took him into the a hastily raised medical tent to wash the grit and dust from his eyes and his body. He didn't like that they took his gear. Right after getting mostly cleaned up, a block and a half away, the 47-story Building 7 collapsed. Everyone ran from the tent. When they came back, Bobby had his gear on and was putting on his helmet to go back to work. They asked him, why didn't he run? He answered, I already had 220 stories fall on me today. That was really nothing. And that's the end of what he told us. What I'm telling you is, after the retiree meeting, we hung around outside the fire museum. Bobby stood with his back to the museum, with Eddie Guile to his right, one of the guys who was retired from the phone fire, me in front of him, and Danny Noonan to his left. As he was telling us how he was doing, he looked up to his left. His eyes were ridiculously wide. He went totally pale, and he passed out. Danny and I and Eddie grabbed him before he hit the ground. The three of us stopped him from hitting the floor. What he saw was a plane landing at Lindbergh, and if you know the downtown area, it looked like he was flying through buildings. He saw what he saw on 9/11, a plane crashing into a building. That's what he thought. He looked at us with a wry smile and he said, I guess I'm not doing as well as I thought. So that was, he went through an incredible day, and he's still alive, thank God. And thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you so much for all that you do. I know this is so important, not only to you, but without people like you and the organizers and volunteers that put all this together, and you all showing up for this moment, these events would not happen. So if each year you just remember that and take a little bit of time out of your afternoon, it means a lot, not only to us here in San Diego, but those that were in New York and those that have been at Ground Zero. Today I spoke with a couple of people that were at the fire station that were based here in San Diego and then made the call to go out there to Ground Zero. And so just hearing those stories kind of brings me back to where I was that day, and I know many of you, that memory might feel like it was just yesterday. So if you need a moment of silence today to just take all that in, we're going to do a really important part of this ceremony, which is the reading of the names. And so if you could just be a little patient with us, we're going to ask everybody that has names. If you have a red name, you're going to be on the left side of the stage, and you're going to start getting lined up now. If you have a blue name, you're going to get on the right side of the stage. So we'll give everybody a moment to get organized. And that's numbers 1 through 40.
By the way, she was talking about the guys who went back for 9/11. That was Task Force 8. They have the Remembrance Project over there. And when I was there, I had more positive stuff talked about them than I've ever heard of another fire department, any other fire department, praising. The New York City guys came up and said, they're incredible. LA firefighters came up and said they're incredible. That's hard. And so did Phoenix and a couple other places telling me that. And thank you.
right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll start with the blue names, and then as soon as one has come up, and then you'll ring, the bell will get rung, and then the next person will proceed.
Chief of the Department, Peter J. Yancey, Jr. Battalion Chief, Matthew L. Ryan, Battalion 1. Lieutenant Paul Thompson Mitchell, Battalion 1.
Give the ship a clean sweep and before and aft. Down all lower deck, line the wells, and passageway. Take all trash and receptacles and provide for on the pier.
Lieutenant Vincent G. Halloran, Ladder 8. Firefighter Sean P. Talon, Ladder 10. Members from Ladder 9, Firefighter Gerard Baptiste, Firefighter John P. Tierney, Firefighter Jeffrey P. Waltz.
Assistant Chief Gerard Barbara, Assistant Chief Donald J. Burns, members from Battalion 2, Battalion Chief William McGovern, Battalion Chief Richard Purdy, Firefighter Festino Apostle Jr.
Captain William F. Burke, Jr., Engine 21. Captain Timothy M. Stackpole, Division 11. Firefighter Robert Paroa, Engine 8. Members from Engine 10, Lieutenant Greg A. Atlas. Firefighter Jeffrey J. Olson. Firefighter Paul Pansini.
Battalion Chief from Battalion 57, Battalion Chief Dennis Cross, Battalion Chief Joseph Marchbanks Jr. Captains from Division 15, Captain Martin Egan Jr., Captain William O'Keefe.
Fire Commissioner William F. Feehan. Firefighter Michael Cowley, Ladder 136. Fire Marshal Ronald P. Buca. Captains from Division 1, Captain Joseph Farrelly, Captain Thomas Moody.
New York Police Department, Detective Claude D. Richards, Officer Maura A. Smith, Officer Ramon Suarez, Sergeant John G. Cullen, Officer John Delara, Officer Vincent Dans, Officer Paul Tolte.
Firefighter Daniel Sir, Engine 216. Lieutenant Robert F. Wallace, Engine 205. Members from Engine 235, Lieutenant Stephen Bates, Firefighter Nicholas P. Chafalo, Firefighter Francis Esposito, Firefighter Lawrence G. Velling.
Members from Rescue 2, Lieutenant Peter C. Martin, Firefighter William D. Lake, Firefighter Daniel F. Liberetti, Firefighter John Nilapani, Firefighter Kevin O'Rourke, Firefighter Lincoln Quaid, and Firefighter Edward Rowell.
Members from Ladder 4, Captain David T. Woolley, Lieutenant Daniel O'Callahan, Firefighter Michael E. Brennan, Firefighter Samuel Otis, Firefighter John J. Tipping II, and from Cantor Fitzgerald, my cousin Michael J. Armstrong.
Members from Ladder 118, Lieutenant Robert M. Reagan, Firefighter Joseph Agnello, Firefighter Vernon P. Cherry, Firefighter Scott M. Davidson, Firefighter Leon Smith Jr., Firefighter Peter A. Vega.
Members from Ladder 3, Firefighter Jeffrey J. Giordano, Firefighter Joseph Maloney, Firefighter John K. McAvey, Firefighter Joseph J. Orgid, Firefighter Stephen J. Olson, Firefighter Timothy P. McSweeney.
Members from Rescue 3, Firefighter Chris Bracklow, Firefighter Tom Foley, Firefighter Tom Gambino Jr., Firefighter Ray Masonheim, Firefighter Donald Regan, Firefighter Gerald Schratt. And let's remember the 370 plus FDNY members who have died from 9/11 illnesses, including my good friend, Joe Morsack. Never forget.
Firefighter V. Purcell, Rescue 4. Firefighter Douglas C. Miller, Rescue 5. Firefighter P. Spoor, Ladder 38. Firefighter Joseph G. Hunter, Squad 288.
Members from Squad 18, Lieutenant William E. McGinn, Firefighter Eric Allen, Firefighter David Halderman, Firefighter Manuel Mojica, Firefighter Lawrence Virgilio.
Members from Hazmat 1, Battalion Chief John Fanning, Lieutenant John A. Chrissy, Firefighter Dennis M. Carey, Firefighter Martin N. DeMio, Firefighter Kevin J. Smith, Firefighter Jonathan R. Homan, Firefighter Dennis Scasso, Firefighter Thomas Gardner.
Members from Ladder 132, Firefighter Andrew Jordan, Firefighter Michael Kiefer, Firefighter Thomas Mingioni, Firefighter Sergio Villanueva. Members from Engine 207, Firefighter Carl H. Joseph, Firefighter Sean E. Powell, Firefighter Kevin O'Reilly.
Members from Ladder 7, Captain Vernon A. Richard, Firefighter George Kane, Firefighter Robert J. Fody, Firefighter Richard Muldowney Jr., Firefighter Charles Mendez, Firefighter Vincent Princiota.
Port Authority Police Officer of New York City and New Jersey, Officer John D. Levy, Officer James F. Lynch, Officer John P. Scala, Officer Walwyn W. Stewart Jr.
Members from Ladder 15, Lieutenant Joseph G. Levy, Firefighter Richard L. Allen, Firefighter Arthur T. Berry, Firefighter Thomas W. Kelly, Firefighter Scott Kapitko, Firefighter Scott Larson, Firefighter Douglas E. Olschlager, Firefighter Eric T. Olson.
Members from Rescue 5, Firefighter Andre G. Fletcher, Lieutenant Joseph Mascali, Firefighter Jeffrey M. Palazzo, Firefighter Nicholas P. Rosomondo, Firefighter Alan Terashevich.
Members from Engine 26, Captain Thomas Farino, Firefighter Dana R. Hannon. Members from Engine 54, Firefighter Paul John Gill, Firefighter Jose Guadalupe, Firefighter Christopher Santora, and Firefighter Leonard Regalia.
Captain Walter Hines, Ladder 13. Firefighter Stephen Belson, Ladder 24.
Members from Engine 22, Firefighter Thomas A. Casoria, Firefighter Michael J. Alferez, Firefighter Vincent D. Kane, and Firefighter Martin E. McWilliams.
Firefighter Richie Allen, Ladder 15. Captain Pat Brown, Ladder 3. And Danny Noonan, Ladder 9.
Members from Engine 33, Lieutenant Kevin Pfeiffer, Firefighter David Arcee, Firefighter Michael Boyle, Firefighter Robert Evans, Firefighter Keith Roy M. Maynard.
Firefighter Vincent Kane, Engine 22. Firefighter James Ritchie's, Engine 4.
Members of Special Operations Command, my friend, mentor, and colleague, Deputy Chief Raymond M. Downey, Deputy Chief Charles Casper, Captain Patrick J. Waters, Lieutenant Timothy Higgins, Lieutenant Michael T. Russo, Sr.
From Rescue 5, Captain Louis J. Medaffery, Lieutenant Harvey Harrell, Firefighter John P. Bergen, Firefighter Carl B. Benny, Firefighter Michael C. Fieri.
Captain Daniel J. Brethel, ladder 24. Firefighter Stephen E. Belson, ladder 24. Lieutenant Christopher P. Sullivan, ladder 111. Battalion Chief Joseph Grzelak, Battalion 48. Firefighter Michael L. Pacino, Battalion 48.
Port Authority Police Officer of New York City and New Jersey, Officer Donald J. McIntyre, Officer Walter A. McNeil, Officer Joseph M. Navis, Officer Michael T. Holy, Sirius K9.
Firefighter Ruben D. Correa, Engine 74. Members of Engine 201, Lieutenant Paul Richard Martini. Firefighter Gregory J. Buck. Firefighter Christopher Pickford. Members of Engine 214, Firefighter John J. Florio. Firefighter Michael E. Roberts. Firefighter Kenneth N. Watson.
Members of Squad 41, Lieutenant Michael K. Healy, Firefighter Thomas P. Cullen III, Firefighter Robert Hamilton, Michael J. Lyons, Firefighter Gregory Sikorsky, Firefighter R. Bruce Benheim.
Members from Engine 226, Firefighter Brian McAllisey, Firefighter Stanley S. Magala Jr. Members from Engine 279, Firefighter Ronnie L. Henderson, and Firefighter Anthony Rodriguez.
It is my honor to read the names from members of Rescue Company 4, Borough of Queens. Captain Brian Hickey, Lieutenant Kevin Dowdle, Firefighter Peter Brennan, Firefighter Terrence Farrell, Firefighter William Mahoney, Firefighter Peter Nelson.
It is my honor to read the members from Engine 55, Lieutenant Peter L. Freund, Firefighter Robert Lane, Firefighter Christopher Mozio, Firefighter Stephen P. Russell, members from Engine 217, Lieutenant Kenneth Phelan, Firefighter Steve Coakley, Firefighter Neil J. Levy.
New York Police Department, Sergeant Michael S. Curtin, Officer Walter E. Weaver, Officer Ronald P. Clover, Officer James P. Leahy, Sergeant Rodney C. Gillis.
Members from Battalion 9, Battalion Chief Dennis L. Devlin, Battalion Chief Edward F. Garrity, Lieutenant Charles W. Garbarini, firefighter Carl Asaro, firefighter Alan D. Feinberg.
Members of Rescue 1, Captain Terrence S. Hayden, Lieutenant Dennis Mercado, firefighter William Henry, firefighter Gary Goodell, Gary's father, Lieutenant Paul Goodell, Rescue 1, retired, Gary's brother, firefighter Ralph Goodell, Rescue 1, both died of 9/11 related cancers, looking for Gary.
May all those who have passed be remembered forever, and may we never forget what happened on 9/11, 2001. Members from Ladder 11, Lieutenant Michael Quilty, firefighter Michael F. Camarata, firefighter Edward J. Day, firefighter John F. Heffernan, firefighter Richard J. Kelly Jr., firefighter Robert King Jr., and firefighter Matthew Rogan.
Port Authority Police Officer of New York City, New Jersey, Superintendent Ann V. Marone, Officer John J. Lennon Jr., Officer Richard Rodriguez, Officer James Nelson, Officer Stephen Husko Jr.
Members from Engine 4, firefighter Calixto Ania Jr., firefighter James C. Riches, firefighter Thomas G. Scholes, firefighter Paul A. Tetmeyer. Now from Ladder 101, Lieutenant Joseph Gullickson, firefighter Patrick Byrne, firefighter Salvatore B. Calabro, firefighter Brian Canizaro, firefighter Joseph Maffio, and firefighter Terrence A. McShane.
Port Authority police officers of New York City and New Jersey, Captain Kathy Nancy Matza, Officer Alphonse J. Niedermeyer, Officer James W. Parham, Officer Dominic A. Betulo, Officer Antonio J. Rodriguez.
Members from Engine 23, firefighter Robert McPadden, firefighter James N. Papa George, firefighter Hector Luis Tirado Jr., firefighter Mark P. Whitford,
From Squad 1, Captain James M. Amato, Lieutenant Edward A. Daughtry, Lieutenant Michael Esposito, Lieutenant Michael N. Fodor, firefighter Brian Vilcher, firefighter Gary Fox.
Lieutenant Glenn E. Wilkinson, Engine 238. Firefighter Raymond R. York, Engine 285. Paramedic Carlos R. Lillo, EMS Battalion 49. Paramedic Ricardo J. Quinn, EMS Battalion 57. And the retired members working fire safety for the World Trade Center. Captain James J. Corrigan, Engine 320. Firefighter Philip T. Hayes, Engine 217.
Also from Squad 1, Firefighter Thomas M. Butler, Firefighter Peter Carroll, Firefighter Robert Cordes, Firefighter David J. Fontana, Firefighter Matthew D. Garvey, Firefighter Stephen G. Siller.
Members from Ladder 105, Captain Vincent Brunton, Firefighter Thomas R. Kelly, Firefighter Henry A. Miller, Jr., and Firefighter Frank A. Palumbo.
Port Authority Police Officer of New York City and New Jersey, Chief James A. Romito, Officer Paul W. Jurgens, Officer Liam Callahan, Officer Paul Lasinski, Sergeant Robert M. Kalpers.
Members from Squad 288, Lieutenant Ronald T. Kerwin, Firefighter Ronald E. Geese, Firefighter Jonathan L. Levy, Firefighter Adam D. Brandt, Firefighter Timothy M. Welke.
Firefighter John Marshall, Ladder 27. Chief Thomas P. DeAngelis, Battalion 8. Firefighter Thomas McCann, Battalion 8.
Battalion Chief Frederick C. Sheffield, Jr., Battalion 12. Lieutenant Charles J. Margiotta, Battalion 22. FDNY Chaplain, Father Michael Judge.
Members from Ladder 21, Firefighter Gerald T. Atwood, Firefighter Gerald Duffy, Firefighter Keith Glasgow, Firefighter Joseph Henry, Firefighter William E. Krukowski, Firefighter Benjamin Suarez.
Firefighter Michael Mullen, Ladder 12. Firefighter Angel L. Warbe, Jr., Ladder 12. Firefighter Robert Crawford, Safety Battalion 1. Battalion Chief John M. Polillo, Battalion 11. Battalion Chief John Morin, Battalion 49. Lieutenant Raymond E. Murphy, Ladder 16. Firefighter Robert Cortolo, Ladder 16.
Firefighter Manuel Del Valle, Engine 5. Firefighter Michael Regusa, Engine 29. Lieutenant Robert Nagel, Engine 58. Firefighter John Chakura, Engine 219. Firefighter Robert Sweer, Engine 50.
Members from Engine 1. Lieutenant Andrew Desperito, Firefighter Michael T. Weinberg. Members from Engine 6. Firefighter Paul Byer, Firefighter Thomas Holohan, Firefighter William R. Johnston.
All hands to quarters, muster, instruction, and inspection. Weather parade.
That looks like, I think it's part of the recording that they have the guys on the ship.
New York Police Department, Officer Thomas M. Langone, Officer Jerome M. P. Dominguez, Officer Brian G. McDonald, Officer John W. Perry, Officer Glenn K. Pettit.
Giving their lives so that so many others could live. Today, remember with me Firefighter Peter J. Langone, Squad 252, Lieutenant Anthony Jovic, Ladder 34, and Firefighter Michael F. Lynch of Ladder 4.
Father and son, Firefighter Joseph Angelini Sr., Rescue 1, Firefighter Joseph Angelini Jr., Ladder 4.
It is my honor, Port Authority of New York, New Jersey Police Department, Port Authority Police Officer Clinton Davis Sr., Port Authority Police Officer Uhuru Ganga Houston, Port Authority Police Officer David L. Lamont, Inspector Anthony P. Infantante Jr.
Remember, brothers, Captain Thomas T. Haskell Jr., Division 15, and Firefighter Timothy Haskell, Squad 18. Since 9/11, a younger brother of theirs has joined FDNY.
Firefighter John T. Vigiano II, Ladder 132, and his brother, NYPD Detective Joseph V. Vigiano. Retired FDNY Chief Vigiano lost his only 2 children that day. In 2018, Chief Vigiano lost his battle with post-9/11 cancer, searching for his sons.
Members from Rescue 1. Firefighter Philip, Firefighter Michael Chesney, Firefighter Gerard Evans, Firefighter Patrick O'Keefe, Firefighter Brian Sweet, Firefighter David Weiss.
Members of the New York Police Department, Sergeant Timothy A. Roy Sr., Officer Stephen P. Driscoll, Officer Mark J. Ellis, Officer Robert Fazio Jr., Officer Santos Valentin Jr.
Lieutenant Thomas O'Hagan, Battalion 4. Battalion Chief John P. Williamson, Battalion 6. Members from Battalion 7, Battalion Chief Oriel Palmer, Lieutenant Stephen G. Harrell, and Lieutenant Philip S. Petty.
Port Authority police officers of New York City and New Jersey, Lieutenant Robert D. Seary, Officer Greg J. Froner, Officer George G. Howard, Officer Thomas E. Gorman, Officer Christopher C. Amoroso.
Lieutenant Brian Ahern, Engine 230. Lieutenant Carl Bedigian, Engine 214. And Firefighter Andrew Fredericks, Squad 18.
Port Authority, Officer Donald A. Foreman, Officer Maurice Berry, Officer Bruce Albert Reynolds, Officer Kenneth F. Tygen, Officer Nathaniel Webb.
Members of Ladder 3, Captain Patrick J. Brown, Lieutenant Kevin D. Donnelly, Firefighter Michael Carroll, Firefighter Michael Coy, Firefighter Gerald Dewan, and Engine 163, Firefighter Nicholas DeMacy, my nephew.
Firefighter John J. Gordino, Engine 37. Firefighter Michael Hobb, Ladder 4. Firefighter Michael D. Mullen, Ladder 12. Firefighter Thomas J. Kennedy, Ladder 101.
Members from Engine 55, Lieutenant Peter L. Friend, Firefighter Robert Lane, Firefighter Christopher Mazzulli, Firefighter Stephen P. Russell. Members from Engine 217, Lieutenant Kenneth Phelan, Firefighter Stephen Coakley, and Firefighter Neil J. Levy.
The final names of the first responders will be read by our Wounded Warrior Project. If you could make your way to this side of the stage.
Members from Rider 35, Captain Frank Callahan, Firefighter James A. Gibbison, Firefighter Vincent S. Moello, Firefighter Michael Oten, Firefighter Michael Robbins.
Lieutenant Jeffrey E. Guha, Battalion 42, Firefighter Peter A. Billfield, Ladder 42, Christian M. Reinhardt, Ladder 131, Battalion Chief Lawrence T. Stacks, Battalion 50, members from Squad 252, Firefighter Terrell Coleman, Firefighter Thomas Kovitsky, firefighter Patrick Loins, firefighter Kevin Pryor.
Members from Ladder 2, Captain Frederick J. Ill Jr., Firefighter Captain J. Clark, Firefighter George De Pasquale, Firefighter Daniel E. Harlan, Firefighter Carl Molinaro, Firefighter Dennis M. Mulligan, Firefighter Dennis P. Germain.
Firefighter Robert Thomas Lanane, Ladder 20. Captain John R. Fisher, Ladder 20. Firefighter Dennis Oberg, Ladder 105.
I am deeply honored to present the members from Ladder 5, Lieutenant Vincent F. Giamona, Lieutenant Michael Warchola, Firefighter Louis Arena, Firefighter Andrew Brunn, Firefighter Thomas Hannafin, Firefighter Paul H. Keating, Firefighter John A. Santore, and Firefighter Gregory T. Saucedo.
Members from Ladder 13, Captain Walter G. Hines, Firefighter Thomas Hetzel, Firefighter Dennis McHugh, Firefighter Thomas E. Sabella, Firefighter Gregory Stajic.
Members from Engine 40, Lieutenant John F. Ginley, Firefighter Kevin Bracken, Firefighter Michael D. Daria, Firefighter Bruce Gary, Firefighter Stephen Mercado, Firefighter Michael F. Lynch. Members from Ladder 25, Lieutenant Glenn C. Perry, Firefighter Matthew Barnes, Firefighter John M. Collins, Firefighter Kenneth Kumpel, Firefighter Robert Minara, Firefighter Joseph Ravelli, Firefighter Paul G. Ruback. Firefighter Lee S. Felling, Engine 235. Firefighter David P. DeRubio, Engine 226. Firefighter John A. Scart, Engine 201. Members from Engine 230, Lieutenant Brian G. Ahern, Firefighter Frank Bonomo, Firefighter Michael S. Carlo, Firefighter Jeffrey Stark, Firefighter Eugene Whelan, Firefighter Edward J. White III.
Members from Ladder 20, firefighter John Patrick Burnside, firefighter James Michael Gray, firefighter Sean S. Handley, firefighter David LaForge, firefighter Robert D. McMahon, who we'll never forget.
We would now like to ask the United and American Airline personnel to come forward. They're going to read the names of the colleagues that they lost on that day.
American Airlines Flight 11, Captain John Oganowski, First Officer Thomas McGinnis, Flight Attendant Betty R.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Kathleen Nicosier.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Amy Madeline Sweeney. American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Jeffrey Coleman.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Barbara Aresticui.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Karen Martin. American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Diane Schneider.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Jean Rocher.
American Airlines Flight 11, Flight Attendant Sarah Lowe.
From United Airlines Flight 175, Captain Victor Saraceni.
United Airlines Flight 175, First Officer Michael Horrocks.
As we live our commitment to never forget, we remember today and always not only the crew members we've lost, but all those who love them. On United Flight 175, Flight Attendant Amy King and her fiance, also Flight Attendant Michael Giroux.
United Airlines Flight 175, Boston Customer Service Representative Marianne McFarland.
United Airlines Flight 175, Flight Attendant Alfred Bouchard.
United Airlines Flight 175, Flight Attendant Catherine Labori. We will never forget.
United Airlines Flight 175, Flight Attendant Alicia Titus.
United Airlines Flight 175, Boston Customer Service Representative Jesus Sanchez.
Airlines Flight 175, Flight Attendant Robert Fink. In loving memory, we will never forget United Airlines Flight 175, Flight Attendant Amy Jarrett.
American Airlines Flight 77 was captained by my friend in Naval Academy, shipmate Charles Burlingame. First officer was David Charlevoix. The flight attendants were Michelle Heidenberg, Flight Attendant Kenneth Lewis and his wife, Flight Attendant Jennifer Lewis, and Flight Attendant Renee May. Also on the aircraft were American Airlines family members Admiral Bud Flagg and his wife Darlene Flagg.
May we never forget Captain of United Airlines Flight 93, Captain Jason M. Dahl.
United Airlines Flight 93, First Officer Leroy Homer.
United Airlines Flight 93, Flight Attendant Wanda Green.
United Airlines Flight 93, Flight Attendant Sandra Bradshaw.
United Airlines Flight 93, Flight Attendant Deborah Welsh.
United Airlines Flight 93, a beloved Flight Attendant Lorraine Bay.
United Airlines Flight 93, Flight Attendant CC Lyles.
That concludes the reading of the names. I would like to now invite the San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria up for a couple of words.
Thank you, Bob. I have the highest of honors and the most solemn of tasks to provide closing comments this afternoon. I note that today we gather to fulfill a promise that many of us made 20 years ago, a promise that we would never forget the tragic day of September 11th, 2001. We all stand here united today as fellow San Diegans to honor the memory of the nearly 3,000 fellow residents who lost their lives in the horrors that were that day. It is a day that has forever changed our country and our city. For many of us, September the 11th is not a distant memory. That's particularly true here in America's finest city, a proud military town. Today reminds us how, in the face of unspeakable terror, San Diegans answered the call to step up and to serve. Whether it's through acts of mutual aid, as fires still raged at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, members of our San Diego Police Department and our fire department were in those locations serving our fellow Americans in the darkest of hours of our country. And in the months and years that followed, many of San Diego's sons and daughters stepped up once again to serve, to defend, and to protect our great country. The bravery and selflessness shown by those who responded are not just a testament about their individual integrity, but about our collective strength as a great city. We as San Diegans know that we are a place that not only remembers the sacrifices of our citizens, but actively support and uplift those who continue to serve. Events like today's memorial and your presence here today serve as a powerful reminder of that commitment and reinforces the values that bind us together as a community, as San Diegans, and as Americans. Let today serve as a reminder that never forget is much more than just a phrase. It is a call to action, a call to honor this great country, the heroes that have made it great, and the ideals that make it the greatest country on the face of the earth. We remember those who gave their lives, and we stand together to ensure that their legacy continues far into the future. My fellow San Diegans, thank you so much for being here today, for your dedication, and for keeping the memory of 9/11 alive in our hearts. May we always remember, and may we always honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to now have a moment of silence for all those who passed.
Ready? And so loud. Fire! Ready? And fire! Ready? And fire!
Poor guy. Brutus. Hey.
Okay.
You brought him last year. I remember that. It's okay. It's okay.
It's over.
Hey, right here. Come on. We hold this for a second. We call him now.
The echo taps were performed by Dan Carr of the Oceanside Fire Department and Thomas J. Retired, Riverside City Fire Department. They did a great job. I'd like to now call up Debbie Arnold for the benediction.
Bow your heads and your hearts in prayer, please. Dear God, as we have looked back and recalled that fateful day 23 years ago, may these memories compel us to acts of kindness, words of love, and demonstrations of community. We ask that the many images of helpers, firefighters, police officers, chaplains, workers, ordinary people be icons that inspire us to be helpers as well. May the text and voicemail of I love you and you are everything to me assure us that love always has the last word. But also may those words remind us that we too should never wait to say them. We pray for those whose lives are forever changed on that tragic day. Grant comfort to those who grieve. Strengthen those who continue to struggle with questions that remain unanswered. Assure those who worry that they should have said or done something different to have peace within themselves. And as you, Father, gather all the fragments of our lives, bless them and use them in ways that nourish and heal. Precious Father, as we have considered that fall day so many years ago, grant us the ability to cling to the examples of goodness that emerged out of the ashes. Strangers helping strangers, everyday people rising in courage and sacrificing themselves for others. And finally, Lord, we ask that you would grant us strength and the will to carry that torch of love and compassion to all we encounter. It's in Jesus' precious name we pray. Thank you.
Please stand up.
Drums, ready. On the rolls. Quick, march.
gotten 100% better. I get impressed every time I hear them. They just started 20 years ago after 9/11 from being at many funerals, and it was always the pipes and drums from New York there. So a couple of the guys picked it up and they started. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up. Again, thank you. I'll see you next year.
Is it still on?
Yeah, but...
All right, you guys, so that was 9/11, the 23rd 9/11 ceremony, and I don't know if you heard the gentleman, Bob, who was speaking. He said that this is the 20th year it's been here on the Midway. It's the third year I've been reading names, the same ones every time, and so, you know, it's an honor to, you know, remember the people who lost their lives. And we should never forget. We should always make sure that we remember why and what actually happened, because that's extremely important. You know, so it'll be happening again next year. And, you know, there's a lot of people who have lost their friends, and there's even deaths that happen after, you know, years later, just from cancers and different things that the first responders have experienced due to all of the toxins that were in the buildings when they fell. You know, it's just nice to, again, remember the people here and that have lost their lives, no matter why they lost them. But I think it's important that we remember what actually happened, and so that we don't, you know, forget that. And so thank you guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. There's a after party or whatever at their museum. It's the Firefighter Museum, and so that's an interesting little place with like old fire engines and stuff like that. So we'll
and Bob,
he's great. But so we'll show you some of that. We're not going to be live the whole time, but we'll come back live to you guys so that you can see that and just see the engine there. And possibly I'd like to talk to some people there when we get there. And so, I don't know, I guess maybe we could actually talk to somebody here. Let's see. I don't know. What?
Oh, Greasy Todd.
I don't know. You want to say hi to Todd? Oh no, he leaves early, so he's skipping out. Todd gets out of here quick. Todd doesn't wait around. Last year he read names. This year he got the closing statement. So how fun is that? Yeah, it's interesting. There's the Border Patrol is even here for this. And I think about, you know, all of the Islamic terrorists, like, you know, people believe what actually happened that day with what we've been told, then it would, you know, terrify people to know that there's Islamic terrorists on the watch list that have crossed over the border and are somewhere in the nation, and quite a lot of them. So, you know, it's just a wonder why people aren't more concerned about that if they believe, you know, what we've been told. You would think that that would terrify them and they wouldn't want open borders like they do, but they do. And it's pretty interesting to think about that, especially on a day like today. You know, we found passports and different IDs. You know, there's a plethora of people in our nation that are potentially, that can potentially have lost their lives. I mean, they're closing up now, so I don't know. Did you show them all the stuff over there? So there's different pieces of
checked
the
out the different things. There's a lot more to this place than what's on the flight deck.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very large ship, and so the USS Midway. This is now a museum. You can come and see all the different planes and different things. There's many decks below. You can actually go and walk through a lot of the areas and see what it would be like to be on a ship of this size out at sea with aircrafts, all different kinds of aircraft. So, I would recommend you coming and seeing and checking it out if you ever feel like you want to see what that's like. They do tours. They even have little sound devices that can kind of like take you on the tour of wherever you're going. And,
there's flight simulators.
Yeah, flight simulators. You can get into the different aircraft here and just kind of check them out and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I think it's important to remember those who lost their lives on this day and never forget. So we don't have to repeat history, but I don't know. I'm kind of like a Debbie Downer right now because it's really hard to live in two different realities of what actually happened. Because
it was really crazy last year when we had to sit through the thing in Coronado. They told minute by minute the official
so we did
story.
2 events yesterday, and so they were talking about what actually happened, and it's hard because when we continue to push what we've been told, it doesn't leave us in a space where we can actually honor those, because then we went to war and a bunch of people died there for reasons that we shouldn't have gone. So it's just kind of sad to think like we still kind of live in this world of propaganda, and I feel like it would honor those who died more by telling the truth and why they really died, and holding the people that actually did it accountable instead of claiming it's other terrorists when it's domestic terrorists that did this to our own nation. And so it's actually really sad for me to think about, and I feel like it's a dishonor to the people to not really acknowledge that, but I don't know, and that people want to continue to tell the story so that we don't forget, but when we're not telling the truth about what actually happened, it doesn't really move the needle forward. But it's a really hard thing to reconcile with what actually happened. And I think a lot of people, here that have lost their loved ones or friends or whatever it is, that they don't, it's really hard to reconcile with, like, you're already just mourning the loss of somebody, but to like go down the little bit to really understand what happened is quite difficult. So, but I think it's paramount, and that's why I think, it's important to keep sharing the truth like that so that people can understand what's actually taking place. So we're going to go to the after event, and we'll go ahead and bring you a little bit from there.
I'll give you guys a quick tour of the San Diego Firefighting Museum. It's beautiful. It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, so anyway, and just continue to stay tuned. It's been an interesting day. I was able to finish with the Board of Supervisors as well and bring this up with them. So we'll play that for you guys as well later, just so that you can catch the tail end of it if you're interested. But thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow 619 SDLD, San Diego Live Data. You can always reach out to us at sandiegolivedata@gmail.com if you wanted to give us any tips or anything like that. Follow at Luke Slywaker, and I'm Eye the Storm SD. And then also JDATA 17. So we really appreciate him and all the work that he does to bring us these live streams and get it on many platforms. He does a lot of hard work behind the scenes. So God bless everybody, and if you've lost anybody on this day, I'm sorry, but we must continue to remember them so that they don't get forgotten. So God bless. Love you.